What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Leading Crypto. Got a short and sweet update for you, piggybacking off of yesterday's video. You can watch the recorded version back on YouTube. I do have this streaming on TikTok as well. Just for the quick morning review here. So Ethereum, right? We were looking at our boxes yesterday. Basically pretty much front ran up to the 6-month pivot once again. We were looking at a couple of levels down below. One region has remained key throughout this entire last couple of days here, and then on top of that is had a confluence across the last few weeks. I've referred to it primarily as the March 23 high. This has realistically been your quarter one 23 high as well. And then this week it is just stacked with support at the moment. And if we flip that, we do not want to see that flipped into resistance. Reason being is that is also our weekly open. This is also our weekly pivot. All right, weekly pivot comes in right there as well, along with a couple of other regions as well. So a big level of support gives us a really big level to play off of as well during this week. We've got some big news coming today as the Shanghai fork, which personally I don't know really anything about. Don't really get into the news, but I did like the timing around that specific news event this month based on some of our monthly averages that I've been basically building some stats for over the last few months. And I'll get into that here in a second. But just kind of getting into a short-term outlook here for, pretty much today on ETH. When we looked at a couple of larger term, larger levels here to the upside, the untapped yearly pivot still remains the major target here for me. Let me zoom this out a little bit. And that comes in about 1989. We've got a trend-based fib extension with a gold pocket that lines up here as well, right up to about $2,000. That weekly pivot, once again, is just so weekly open. I suggest I really should say weekly open at this point, but realistically, taking it all the way back to Q1 high. But at the moment, this week, it's going to be a really key place to kind of pay attention for. Ideally an area to potentially take along. At the moment we're looking at the VWAP to flip that into support, and then we're going to take it up into a couple of things here. But over time, potentially throughout the rest of this week into next, like I said, the untapped yearly pivot still remains the major target to the upside right there at 1989. Trend-based gold pocket comes in there, and then if we go through that region, we've got the Q1 22 low at 2155. Untapped monthly pivot up here at 2200, and you have the 1-to-1 extension that comes in this boxed region as well. So these would be the next two high side targets to the upside. How we get there is the question. So breaking this down into a little bit more on the lower term time frame, when looking at where we are today, we're going to take a peek at our previous day range here, and it's really nicely broken out here, broken down, I suppose. So we got our weekly open support. Right now we're running right into the VWAP. So that's the next little region you want to see claimed. And it's pretty much right where we are, about 1871. I want to see that flipped. Right now I'm on the 15-minute, I believe. So it's a smaller time frame for the candles at the moment. You got the previous day low. That's where we'd run it up to next, be a next little short-term target. After that, you've got actually the day open probably comes in around there too, and there it is. So as far as some short-term areas to look for, it's basically flipping 1871, previous day low at 1881, day open comes in right at 1889. We did open outside the previous day range once again, so essentially there is a Dalton in play. We were discussing that yesterday. We go over this pretty heavily in the group. And that being said, if you claim daily open, we take it up to previous day val, which at that level, I'd imagine we have this untapped daily pivot for today would be hit. And then we look to see that Dalton plays out, break into the range. Previous day point of control would become the next major target. So potentially here, over the course of a few take profits in a short-term swing day trade, however you want to look at it, there's a potential for about 2.5% move. If you're looking into anything on the short term, nice and easy there. Otherwise, claiming these regions is also going to transpire into the higher term time frames, and then looking into our larger targets to the upside. Right, so I'll take those off here. The timing of this Shanghai fork, I've been talking about that for a little bit, just the last few videos. Like I said, I don't really get too much into wrapped up in taking the news as a bias, but we do have a couple of things below us that, the timing is coming up. So I'm really looking to see if we run up into these regions. Would love to do it sooner than later here, especially into the yearly pivot. It doesn't have to happen, of course. Weekly open is a big region for me to be paying attention for. Like I said, that's that quarter one high, March high, weekly pivot, a couple other things there as well. So if we lose that, looking down below us, we do have an untapped monthly pivot for this month. So this is the average price of last month generated for this month. And there's a high hit rate that we're going to come and tag that within this month. And I've back tested the last 4 out of 5 months. And we've come down to this region between the 14th and the 18th, 4 out of 5 times on that next session. So we are currently in that next session right now. 14th obviously is coming up here in a few days to the 18th. Once again, just a stat I've been putting together. This is still remaining a target for this month that I'm keeping a big eye on, and that's down at about 1683. We've also got our quarterly pivot down here as well. And then if we're paying attention for our last range that we just came out of, the point of control comes in that box region as well. So really between 1685 all the way down to about 1621 would be the low side area I'd be paying attention for if we start breaking down. But I really am leaning for a little bit more upside first. So we'll see how it plays out. Like I said, you got to be willing to adjust if it comes. And that level for me to adjust that really does start poking its head. If we lose basically 1857, start closing below, get a rejection. Otherwise, where we are now, another pullback, another higher low here. I am still targeting to the upside here at the yearly pivot, 1987 to 2003, potential little pullback there. And then the last little move to about 2200. And then from there, I would like to see the reaction there. And then if we get a pretty decent, rejection pullback here, I would be almost inclined to look down towards that month pivot. So we'll see how it all plays out. That's the way I'm trading it at the moment. Hope you all enjoyed this pretty brief, quick and easy update here. I'll be sure to clip this and put a couple of these on TikTok later on today. Unfortunately, you can't save back the live streams, but they are on YouTube if you want to, take a peek at those and what we've been talking about recently. Magic Internet Money and Max will be coming on Magic's channel later today about 10 a.m. Eastern to go over Bitcoin pretty heavily and some order flow and open interest. So be sure to tune into that. And other than that, everybody, CVO signing off. Have a great morning.